Hi drummers, hope you're well. Shout out to superstar channel members Stephen and Margo. This is how to play the drum beat from You Can't Hurry Love, the Phil Collins version. It's a cover, of course, of a song by the Supremes. It's pretty much the same drum beat, but I'm thinking of the Phil Collins version. It goes like this. So at its heart, it's an upbeat gospel feel, classic sort of boom chick, umpah, like Motown, knees up Mother Brown, again, gospel feel. So even if you wanted to play a super simple version of it, think of it as quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has a lot in common with tunes like beats like Lust for Life, Iggy Pop, Valerie, Amy Winehouse, Walking on Sunshine, Katrina and the Waves, Last Night by Strokes, tons of songs that have that kind of feel. It's a classic one of those. Now, the thing that makes it the most tricky, the thing that Stephen and Margo, and in fact several other people who've messaged me about this groove say, is the bass drum, right? When the bass drum starts getting more busy, starts moving like in between the hi-hats or the ride cymbals later on, and what almost without fail everybody says is, oh, my hi-hat hand, my ride cymbal hand goes with the bass drum. People say, I'm struggling with it. I find it hard to separate. So, I mean, man, just coming at it from a really basic angle, my thing is you just got to start at the beginning and build it up. I think so often when I look back at my drumming history and learning things, very often I just simply didn't do that. I didn't take the time to just break it down, piece it together, show, like truly learn it, show my hands and my feet and my brain really slowly, the events one at a time, and then build it up. That's, I would say, almost always, in my experience, in my opinion, my experience working with people, that's the way to get this going. So I'll play the whole thing here. 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So you could say it's a 2-bar long phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So as you can see, it's got that boom, cha, but the bass drum starts getting more busy. In the first bar, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Now that little bass drum on the and of beat 4, I would say if you're fairly near the start of playing the drums, that's the one that's going to catch you out, I would say, in my opinion, because instinctively, almost all of us, certainly I did, we want to go with our right stick as that right foot comes in. So almost everybody at first will go. You're only human, man. I exactly would have done exactly that, like I say. But so this is where you got to go slow. Like the great man Dave Elich says, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. 2, 3, 4, and just roll that a little bit if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the moment, isn't it? That's the moment. 4, and when you got that bass drum on its own, and just take as much time as you like to go slow to program it in, to allow your hands and your feet and your brain, your nervous system working together to see that moment. Because what happens over and over again, only again in my opinion, in my experiences, drummers, including me when I was younger, we try to perform it before we've learned it, before we've rehearsed it. This is why playing a musical instrument is a thing, right? You've got to build it, you've got to earn it, you've got to do some graft here, you've got to start at the beginning. If you're not, obviously if you're playing this and it's smooth, great, I'll shut up, just carry on. But if you're looking for guidance here, go slow, show your hands and the feet in your brain, even if you just talk yourself through it, right? So you go hi-hat and snare, kick. Like you've got to get those notes lined up. The old cliche, the neurons that fire together, they'll wire together. You've got to get the right neurology lighting up in your head in the first place. You can't just pull this out of nowhere. You've got to learn it. You've got to earn it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and. That's the first bar of 2. The bass drum is on the and of beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. In the second bar, you've got 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So the bass drum there is a bit more busy. It's on the and of 1 in between the hi-hats, on the and of 2, and then also on beat 3 with the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So here's the second bar. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. I would say as you get faster, that moment where you do the bum, so like and 3, the first bass drum is on its own, the second bass drum goes with the hi-hat. That's the trickiest moment of all. Right, now I'm just going to do that classic thing of just looping it and looping it. I'm going to start really slow and I'm going to build it. I'm going to build it and build it. This has some swing to it as well. So the eighth notes, the ands, are swung, and that will reveal itself as we get a bit quicker. That basically what that means is rather than being evenly spaced out, rather than that feel, there are all the ands, those bass drums that go in between the hi-hats, they're a little later than even. That's the feel that we're aiming for in the end. I wouldn't lose any sleep over that at first. If you're just getting off the ground with the coordination, worry about that first. Just play it straight. Just get the right notes happening in the right order first. The feel can come later as it starts to become automatic as you build that facility with it. I always think it's about bandwidth in our head. As a bit of bandwidth gets freed up, at first takes all the bandwidth just to perform the right notes in the right order. If you're near the beginning of drumming, but as it becomes more automatic, you can get in a place where more bandwidth is available to then think about the feel. So I'm going to go real slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So little bit by little bit, we're going to pick up some speed here. 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Okay, about this sort of speed, which is still quite a bit slower than full speed, I'm going to start to add that swing to the bass drum. Here it comes. 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, let's pick it up a little bit more. Just for fun, let's go to the right. The hi-hat. So I reckon we're about there. The full speed is 196 beats per minute. Here it comes with the click. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's lively but not super fast in the pantheon of songs that go boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat. I'd say it's not one of the faster ones. It's actually got a little bit of slowness, a little bit more groove to it than just boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat. That's it. Like I say, shout out to Margo and Stephen and everyone else who's asked about that. Got asked about that today again for a different viewer as well. So, man, it's just one of those all-time classic feels. If you're playing soul music, funk music, Motown music, pop music, whatever, everybody needs a bit of boom chick up their sleeve. But don't underestimate what's involved when you get the full bass drum part going. My experience of learning it, and then when I was younger and working with people, teaching people, is people consistently do underestimate what's involved, and they seem kind of baffled when my right stick goes with the bass drum, as if there's like something wrong with them. Like I'm going to tell them, yeah, there's something wrong with you, mate. That shouldn't happen. You got to build it, man. You got to earn it. This takes quite a lot of time, and getting that bass drum to really sit. I mean, it's tricky, man. I think this is a tricky groove. Remember when I was a kid, I had the VHS tape of Phil Collins live in Berlin, I think, and he tells this story before they play this song about. I haven't watched it in a while, but I swear it's like he finds Chester Thompson asleep, like in the hotel. I swear he's in the corridor of the hotel, and people who've watched this might be able to correct me on this story, but he says to him, like, what's the hardest drum beat like I've ever asked you to play? And Chester Thompson thinks for a bit, and I think he says this one, right? Because I get it, like this. It's not just getting the coordination, that's one thing. It's getting it to really sit and feel right as well. And I think it's one of those beats that's, because it's really repetitive, it can get in your head quite a bit as well. Like after a couple of minutes of playing it, you sort of look down and you go, oh, these are my hands and feet. And the minute you start thinking about it, it can suddenly, the game can change and it can be a bit more tricky. So this is quite a challenging groove, and please don't underestimate it, I would say. But it's an amazing tune. The Supremes version, really quick, is basically the same thing, but it seems like that just the second bar just doesn't have quite as many notes. Like that ba-bum on the bass drum in the second bar doesn't really happen. So the Supremes version is just more like. Something like that. I have to say, even if I was playing the Supremes version, I'd probably play. That beautiful kick drum locked in with the bass, like Leyland Sklar on bass, boom, 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 like, doubling up the bass guitar on the bass drum. Brilliant. So shout out to, like I say, channel members Stephen and Margo. Thanks a million for watching. As always, really appreciate it. Any questions, give us a shout. See you soon. Cheers.